Oklahoma, Kansas. Oklahoma's sitting around the 10-point favorite. It's starting to come down a little bit. And in Lawrence for homecoming, I love Kansas here. I think that this Oklahoma team is still overvalued in the market. They're getting too much credit for that Texas win. Remember, 3-0 turnovers. They had a goal line stand. Texas has the game won if they knew how to manage a clock. Then they play prevent defense. So Oklahoma team's also been extremely fortunate when it comes to turnovers. I think they have plus 10 turnover margin. The rushing attack is broken. They can't run the ball. There's issues on the offensive line. And look, their passing game has been great. The schedule's been pretty easy. There's been some misleading scores, like the Texas game, the Cincy game. That was like dead even statistically. The SMU game, it's a coin flip with 10 to go. So I think this team is overvalued in the market. And they also miss Andrew Anthony, their leading receiver, who's out for the year. You saw that last week against UCF. I don't think Jalen Daniels is going to play. Maybe it's a Troy Calhoun situation. Maybe he does play, and this is just playing around with Oklahoma and Brett Venables. By the way, Oklahoma's special teams are a disaster. I have them rated outside the top 100 on the season. And guess what Lance Leipold has done in Lawrence? Fix the special teams. Remember how disastrous the Kansas special teams used to be? Like I would bet them, and then they would give up like 3 punt returns for a touchdown. They would have a punt blocked, missed 7 field goals, and lose by 50. I have their special teams top 10 in the country this year. He's done a tremendous job there. But this is a great spot for Kansas. This is, look, they had a bye. Oklahoma stayed on deck. And there's certain teams that I value buys for more than others. And Kansas is one because I love their staff so much. I love their head coach. I love their offensive coordinator. 2 weeks to prepare. And assuming Daniels doesn't go, Bean, who's played Oklahoma each of the past 2 years, and they put up 42. They lost 52-42 last year in Norman with Bean starting. 2 weeks to get him used to the offense, right? He started one game where he learned he was starting that Saturday morning. What does that mean? You're not running with the ones. The game plan's not built for you all week. So you have 2 weeks to prepare here. This is a guy who's won in the past. You have to attack Oklahoma through the air. Their run defense numbers are legit. And I think that's how Kansas will attack here. A lot of motion. It's a tough team to prepare for, especially with 2 weeks to prepare. So you can expect some new looks. I think they jump out early on Oklahoma, make this a fight till the end. Oklahoma's going to score. The Kansas defense is bad. Like I'm not going to sit here and tout the Kansas defense, but I think Kansas can keep up. I think they're going to build a lead early, and then they'll be able to keep up, similar to last year in a game that had 94 total points. So I like Kansas here. Get that 10 or better. But let's go rock chalk. What do you got here? Do you agree or disagree?
I hate to say I'm flipping from what I said on the new BCS. Like if Jalen Daniels was playing for Kansas, I'd feel much more comfortable laying them. But the fact that it's Jason Bean, you're right. He's playing with the ones now, but it's just, it's less explosives. It's less of a threat on the ground. It's less of everything that Jalen Daniels does. Now, Jason Bean doesn't make a whole bunch of mistakes. He's pretty even on big time throws and turnover worthy plays, but there's just some stats on Kansas that I cannot get over. And, first off, can they upset them? Oklahoma's won 18 straight. They generally dominate this. Leipold's had some issues. There's a ton of points scored last year, but they could never keep OU from gaining available yards. And I think that's what this game is. It's an available yards bonanza. And if you don't know what available yards is, like if you line up on the 20, you have 80 possible available yards. I think both these offenses are going to go up and down the field, collecting as many available yards as possible. But KU's 4-2-5 defense that runs quarters and cover 3, it's been horrific. KU's defense has been obliterated when opponents are in scoring position. They're 124th defensively in finishing drives. They're dead last in red zone efficiency. So I was there this week until I found out that all 27 red zone trips by Kansas opponents have ended up being a score. It's inevitable. Like you get into the red zone, you're getting points. There's no stops coming. So, Dylan Gabriel should have a big day. KU plays quarters coverage. Gabriel's best secondary to attack has always been quarters, a 61% success rate, a 0.24 EPA. So I'm switching a little bit just because of the red zone numbers, and the finishing drives numbers for Kansas's defense are abominable.
I disagree. And I would make the argument that Kansas is due. So look for a Gabriel red zone pick and then more missed field goals from their struggling kicker. I can't believe you are
2-point conversions every
I
time.
can't believe you're switching to these Sooners.
I don't have a penny on it. I haven't made a bet on it, but I'm right there. It's at 9. It's like, oh boy.
What would Coach Venable say about this?